Days away, we're continuing to bring you coverage of important local races in the community. Coming up on a live report, you'll hear from candidates running for Indiana House District 26.
It has been a beauty of a day. Some places near record warmth. We've got the high thin clouds coming in from the west now that signal the big change ahead and that strong storm system by Saturday. We'll dig into that next.
You're watching News 18 at 6. News from where you live.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Smith. Thanks for joining us. Developing today, the Delphi double homicide suspect is now in the state prison system for safekeeping. 50-year-old Richard Allen had been held at the White County Jail since his initial hearing on murder charges last Friday. Today, Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Lesenby filed a motion to have Allen transferred to the custody of the State Department of Corrections for safekeeping. White County Sheriff Bill Brooks says Allen was transferred to state custody today. Allen faces 2 counts of murder for the killings of Abby Williams and Liberty German more than 5 years ago. Carroll County Judge Benjamin Diener has also recused himself from the case. The Indiana State Supreme Court is in the process of appointing Allen County Judge Fran Gall to the case. That trial is currently scheduled to begin on March 20th. And for Sheriff Tobe Lesenby, the investigation into the deaths of Abby and Libby has been front of mind for more than 5 years. As Lindsay Eaton reports, Richard Allen's arrest has brought relief and hope that the families and his community could finally have some closure.
Stuck on the side of the filing cabinet is one of the sketches, along with a printed off screenshot of the Delphi murder suspect.
For me, it was a constant reminder.
Since the start, these clues hung in Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Lesenby's office, and 5 years later, finally, a major break in the case. A suspect arrested in the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German.
I feel a sigh of relief for, mainly for the families involved, and then for the community as a whole.
Police arrested 50-year-old Richard Allen on 2 counts of felony murder. He lives in Delphi, and all along, investigators believed they were searching for a suspect who was local.
And mainly from the aspect of, the area where those crimes were committed.
Allen worked at CVS. You can actually see the store from the sheriff's office. Sheriff Lesenby remembers seeing Allen there and having interactions with him, describing Allen as professional.
To make the connection now, it's a very unusual feeling.
Last week, when Sheriff Lesenby got word that an arrest was being made in Abby and Libby's murders, we asked if there was some hesitation of getting his hopes up.
Based on what the investigators shared with me, my answer is no. I felt very confident with what they had gained.
What linked Allen to the Delphi double homicide? Is there anyone else involved? Just a couple of the several questions that are still out there.
I know people get frustrated about us being tight-lipped and not sharing information, but the way the criminal justice system works, it's the courtroom is the place, the arena, so to say, for that to be shared in.
Again, that was Lindsay Eaton reporting. Sheriff Lesenby is not running for re-election this year. His successor will either be Tony Liggett or Mark Pinkard. A special judge will preside over the criminal case against the former Fairfield Township trustee. Judge Stephen Meyer recused himself from the case today. Coles has been indicted on more than 40 criminal charges, including theft, corrupt business influence, perjury, and fraud. According to charging documents, the offenses include using a government tax exemption certificate to avoid sales tax on purchases at Menards, Walmart, Sell It Here, and TJ Maxx. She's also accused of using a township credit card to buy a trailer at Rural King and then returning it and trying to have the purchase price credited to her personal account. Other offenses involve Coles allegedly selling personal property to the township and accepting payment from the township. In a statement to News 18 last night, Coles called the prosecution a witch hunt. Well, a stormy weekend ahead, at least part of it. Chief Meteorologist Chad Evans joins us now with our first look at the forecast. Chad?
Yeah, boy, what a warm day today, Jeff. Temperature 72 to 76 for highs. The record was 78 for Greater Lafayette. We didn't get there. We were 5 degrees off, but we were awfully close in places like Crawfordsville and Covington, and also up to the north. Places like Kentland that got up to 73. Current temperatures are running around 70, pretty much viewing area wide right now. We got just a few high thin cirrus clouds coming in, kind of a precursor to this big storm that will impact us Saturday morning. It'll also help to pull some of the moisture from what's left of Hurricane Lisa that made a landfall near Belize. But one other thing to watch with this storm are these clouds off the coast of British Columbia. Winds more than 100 miles an hour right here. This is called a jet streak. Very strong winds, several thousand, many thousands of feet up. This will dive into the west, and what it will do is cause this storm to really deepen and strengthen from near St. Louis up to near Madison, Wisconsin, Saturday morning. What that's going to do is bring a high wind event to the area and lead to gusts of more than 50 miles an hour on part of Saturday. But this evening, a little breezy at times, but mild. 70 at 7, and we're down to 61 by 10.
All right, Chad, thank you. Political Outsiders' recent campaign flyers are putting an Indiana State House incumbent on the defense. News 18's Joe Paul spoke to candidates today who are running for Indiana House District 26, and he joins us now live in West Lafayette with more on that race. Joe?
Yeah, hey Jeff, Indiana House District 26 encompasses all of West Lafayette and other parts of Tippecanoe County. The seat was securely in the hands of a Democratic incumbent before a Republican jumped into the race at the last minute. Incumbent State Representative Chris Campbell was unopposed, and no Republicans had filed to run in the May primary. Purdue University's civics literacy lead, Fred Duttlinger, was tapped by the Tippecanoe County GOP during a caucus earlier this year. Duttlinger says his top priority is increasing teacher pay and improving classrooms. Campbell says her focus is expanding support for unintended pregnancies and growing access to contraceptives. In the Indiana House District 26 race, incumbent State Representative Chris Campbell is running for re-election against Fred Duttlinger, who leads Purdue University's civics literacy efforts. Here are their top issues.
Making sure that our teachers are going to be truly represented in the State House. They're going to get the pay they deserve. Working hard to make sure that our classrooms are trusted and well taken care of by our community.
People are really concerned about reproductive freedom. We're seeing a lot of shortfalls when it comes to helping families avoid unintended pregnancies and making sure that they have what they need to be able to support their families.
Retired Lafayette Police Chief Patrick Flannelly calls out Campbell and her voting record in recent mailers from Duttlinger's campaign. Flannelly says Campbell never reached out to him while in office.
I reached out to Patrick Flannelly many times, and he seemed to refuse to meet with me. So, I'm always available. And I like to think that I have a good relationship with a lot of our local officials.
We've had some partisan politics, unfortunately. You look at Campbell's voting record when it comes to law enforcement, the number of bills she's voted against.
Mayor John Dennis in another mailer says Campbell turned her back on West Lafayette when she voted against a bill designed to remove convicted ex-trustee Jennifer Tysing. Campbell voted no on the bill in committee and yes in the full House.
It was bad for our community. It was hurtful for our Wabash Fire Department, our Wabash residents, to not feel like they had the true support of their representative down in Indianapolis.
I did support the bill. I supported it last year. I supported it this year. There were some questions when it went through committee. We just had to make sure that legislation was the right language at the right time and doing what we want it to do.
Early voting's happening right now in Tippecanoe County, and we're getting some reports about long lines at some vote centers, so you'll want to cast your ballot soon. To find out how, visit our website, WLFI.com. Reporting live in West Lafayette, Joe Paul, News 18.
Joe, thank you. Lafayette police responded late Wednesday night to a report of shots being fired on Lafayette's north end. Just after 11:15, police were called to 1732 Morton Street for a report of multiple shots fired into the home. Police found multiple shell casings at the scene and said they saw bullet holes in the side of the house. Lafayette Police Lieutenant Justin Hartman says no injuries were reported. Police say they don't have any information about a possible suspect. That case is still under investigation. One person is in custody after allegedly stabbing his ex-boyfriend following an argument this morning. It happened at the Bay Point Apartments off of Concord Road in Lafayette. At 10:30, Lafayette police responded to a report of a fight between 26-year-old James Rogers and 26-year-old Eric Jacks. According to police, Rogers stabbed Jacks in the leg and hand during an argument at Rogers' apartment. Jacks was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Rogers was arrested for criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon, domestic battery with a deadly weapon, and interfering with the reporting of a crime. Well, in this week's fugitive search, Lafayette police are looking for this man, 28-year-old Terry Walker. Walker is wanted in Tippecanoe Superior Court 1 for battery against a public safety official. He also has an active warrant in Superior Court 6 on an unrelated charge. Walker is 5 feet 9 and weighs 160 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Walker's whereabouts is being asked to contact Lafayette Police at 807-1200 or the anonymous We Tip hotline at 1-800-78-CRIME. Governor Eric Holcomb made a stop in Pulaski County today for a groundbreaking ceremony. How the more than $1 billion project will impact the county and the state of Indiana. Coming up.
Yes, Governor Eric Holcomb was in Pulaski County this afternoon. Thanks.
You're watching News 18 at 6. News from where you live.
Well, Governor Eric Holcomb was in Pulaski County this afternoon launching the second phase of the Mammoth Solar Project. The project, first introduced in 2021, has now officially broken ground. News 18's Maddie D'Addario joins us to report on the impact the $1.5 billion project will have on the area. Maddie?
Yeah, Jeff, Governor Eric Holcomb was joined alongside Israel-based company Doral Renewables LLC this afternoon. The state of Indiana has been working with the renewable energy company on the Mammoth Solar Project. The solar project is set to span across 13,000 acres of land from Stark to Pulaski County. Today's ribbon cutting was to celebrate Phase 2 of the project, which will take place primarily in Pulaski County. The $1.5 billion renewable energy project is meant to bring 1.3 gigawatts of clean energy to span across 275,000 households when complete. The second phase alone will have solar panels across 3,500 acres of Pulaski County. At today's ribbon cutting, Governor Holcomb talks about watching the project come to life.
I love it when a plan comes together, and this has really come together because we have. And so much expertise. The beautiful thing about taking the tour, for me personally today, was out of so much complexity came what appeared to be so simple.
While the second phase is just underway, the first phase is set to be complete by late 2023. And when the Mammoth Solar Project is complete, it will be the largest solar project in the country. Reporting from in studio, Maddie D'Addario, News 18.
Maddie, thank you very much. Well, for some people this year will be their first time at the polls. According to a new poll at IU South Bend, people who are 18 to 24 are the least likely to vote this year. The school tries to encourage students to get out and vote and help them get registered. Voters who are going to the polls for the first time say they're concerned about issues including climate change, student loan forgiveness, and inflation.
Honestly, this generation is the one that's going to be here longer, and I think we need more of an opinion, more of a say than any older generations who've had their say.
As a university, of course, we will not tell them where to stand on an issue or who to vote for, but they do recognize that they share some concerns with other young voters.
Another big issue that could lead to a bigger showing at the polls is the abortion battle. Experts say we could see a stronger showing of voters under the age of 40 because of that issue.
All right, much warmer tonight. Look at these lows, only down to 56 in Greater Lafayette. A few high clouds around, winds out of the south. Lows 52 to 58, doing it viewing area wide. But a powerful storm system Saturday morning is going to bring some very windy weather. We've got the timing of the highest gusts and when we can actually get a little thunder and lightning as showers and storms come through with it. That's next.
And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
All right, it's a harvest blitz for the corn remaining in the fields right now because we've got a lot of wind in this forecast that may tip some of that corn over, and it makes it more difficult to harvest that corn when it's laying down like that without proper attachments to the corn head on a combine. So all that said, gusts 30 to 40 tomorrow. South-southwest direction. South to southwest winds Saturday, gusts 45 to 65. A lot of the areas about about 50 to 55. That would be during the morning to midday hours. Then afternoon gusts 30 to 45. Sunday, not all out windy, but still breezy. South-southwest winds up to 25 miles an hour during that time. So what's left of the leaves on the trees, boy, they're going to be tumbling down in a big way. All right, 56 tomorrow morning. There's the wind tomorrow afternoon. Partly cloudy, 76 for the high. The record is 78. Set in 2003. 74 at Rochester, 78 at Petersburg, 76 Fowler, and 75 at Monticello. Leaves tumbling Saturday, especially in the morning. Again, we'll have 2 waves of showers and perhaps a little bit of thunder and lightning, and then it clears out pretty quickly during the afternoon. But the highest gusts will be confined to the morning to midday hours, but still quite windy in the afternoon. A high of 67, then just a slight fall during the afternoon. Highs generally 64 to 68 should do it viewing area wide. Now, after that, Sunday's nice. It's breezy, but we've still got highs 65 to 70 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest. So let's dig into this very powerful near bomb type storm system that will impact us. First of all, you see the severe weather right here. This is tomorrow morning. Lots of storms off to our west. Quite a few tornadoes possible. Missouri all the way down to Texas tomorrow evening and into tomorrow night. This is midnight tomorrow night. These are severe storms. The storm just starting to deepen a little bit more. And then here comes those very powerful 100-mile-per-hour winds, many thousands of feet up, that are going to wrap in from the southwest. So the storm's going to deepen very rapidly. By 6 a.m. Saturday morning, there's a little line of weakening storms here. It's a very sheared environment. It's just not very unstable here. However, this may still produce a rumble of thunder or a flash or two of lightning. And remember, it's already going to be windy anyway, so any of this rain could get some pretty intense gusts down to the ground. And we'll watch for a brief little EF0, little tornado spin up. We've got to keep an eye on that too. And then this little line comes through closer to noon, then we clear it out. 70 forecast, normal high 57, 67 Saturday, Sunday. The next week is dry, highs in the low 70s.